Hi, everybody. Today's class is all about opening the hip joints in some maybe non-traditional or uncommon ways. We'll begin lying on our backs in Shavasana. Probably just need 2 blocks for practice today. Always good to have an extra blanket nearby. Allow your body to surrender to gravity. Invite your awareness to become stable here in the present moment. Notice any sensations or thoughts or emotions that are present, and see if you can notice them more on a feeling level than a judging or thinking level. So more of a bare bones awareness. Now, on a more physical level, notice the weight of your pelvis, the orientation of your pelvis, how it's landed. And sense your legs coming out of your pelvis. Notice how the legs are oriented in space, how they've landed on the ground. And now dial your awareness into where the legs plug into the pelvis. So the head of the femur, the top of the thigh bone, and how it connects into the sockets of your hips. It might just be a visual or a kind of general awareness. Notice your breath. Let's begin our movement inquiry by planting the feet about as wide as your mat and moving your arms so they're out to a T. Windshield wiper the legs side to side. Let's slow the movement down and make it more intentional. Like you're moving through honey or something thick. Keep your shoulders heavy. Be sure you're letting this outer leg drop all the way down. Perhaps even pausing on the side and really feeling the weight of that outer leg. Feel the contact your feet are making with the floor, from outer edges of the feet to inner edges of the feet. And let's be a little more intentional with the feet. So you could try pushing the inner edge of the foot into the ground. And purposely lifting this outer edge of the foot away from the ground. As you push the inner edge of the foot into the ground, try to kind of launch or reach the knee away from you. So the knees drop to the left, you're pushing the inner edge of the foot into the ground and sending the right knee further away from you. You could also flex your toes. So keeping the edges of the feet on the ground, just pull your toes back toward your knees or toward your shins. And notice any difference between the two sides of the body, particularly with this inner leg reaching and sensation around the front of the hip. You might notice how close that knee gets to the ground or how far the knee is away from the ground. And is it the same or different on the other side? Maybe the sensation location is completely different. The location or the intensity of the sensation. You might be feeling it more in the front of the hip. You might be feeling it more in the back. You can always squeeze the glute as well. That'll help to distribute the work in a sense and stabilize, be a little bit nicer for the back, for the lumbar. Let's add one more element here. Let's rotate the head opposite the direction the legs are going. And then next time legs drop over to the right, pause there, stretch your left arm alongside your ear and actively reach the arm overhead. So knee and arm are reaching opposite each other. Breathing a little bit more into the left side of the upper back. Option to place the right foot, the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And to use that right foot to not just press the left leg down, but to kind of guide the left knee a little further away. Let the right foot return to the ground, left arm to the T, drop the legs over to your left. Stretching right arm, actively reaching right arm overhead alongside the ear. Actively reaching the right knee in the opposite direction. So you might be feeling this through the right arm, anywhere along the right side of the body. Option to place your left foot, ankle area on top of your right thigh, right down by the knee, with some down and away pressure. Like you could drag the right knee further away from the right hip. Breathing into the right side of the upper back. Let the left foot come back to the floor. Right arm returning to the T. Legs coming back up to center. And then just kind of looser and freer and maybe faster. Windshield wiper knees side to side. I'm going to revisit this movement in different orientations quite a bit. Or this shape. And then next time legs drop over to the right, we're going to walk the left foot a little bit more over to the left. Flex the foot, push the edge of the foot into the ground, stretch the knee away from you. You could take left arm alongside the ear again, so it's pretty much the same shape. We just walk the left foot a little more to the left. Squeeze left buttock. If you're getting knee pain, back off a bit on placement of the foot or energy you're putting into the movement or the shape. Left arm to the T, walk the left foot back to where it was, drop over to the left, walk the right foot back to the right more, right knee more in line with the right hip. For some of you, it might even be more to the right. You can take right arm alongside the ear. Breath is in the foreground of awareness. Bringing the right arm back to the T, walk the right foot back to where it was. And again, just kind of loose and free, windshield wiper. And then next time the knees drop to the right, bring your right hand to the right side of the chest and just kind of slide it down toward the left hand. It's not going to get very far. Might feel kind of awkward. We're just going to do this once. Right arm back to the T. Drop the legs over to the left. Left hand to the left chest, to the chest, left side. We're brushing just down toward the right hand. You're not going to get very far. And then back. Arms to the T, legs back up to center. Let's slide the left leg straight. We'll keep the right foot planted. Same action with the right arm. So right hand, you can just bend the elbow first to get your hand to your chest. And then brush the right hand down to the left hand. Now the right hip will lift and I'm kind of rolling onto the left side of my torso. But let's try not letting this right knee drop in. So keep the leg more vertical. And then brush back. You don't have to straighten the arm altogether. You can just pause the upper arm on the ground and the elbow bent and the hand on the chest. Let's repeat this a few times. You could find your rhythm here. I like to push right foot into the floor and reach the knee away, like directly forward, or even a little bit back behind. So we might feel this now a little bit more in the adductors, the inner thigh. And you can really let the head roll, everybody. So you can roll all the way onto the forehead. Head is heavy. Let's go a few more times on this side. And left leg and foot are relaxed. Having that connection of the hand to the chest and sliding all the way down the arm. So we're not hovering, we're actually making contact with ourselves. The right hand might slide past the left hand. Last one on this side. And then once you're back to center, right arm to the T, plant your left foot, right leg straight and relaxed. Just bend your left elbow to bring your hand to, it's kind of like left armpit chest area, and then brush across your chest, across the shoulder, down the arm, all the way to the right hand. And brushing all the way back up, rewinding. Try pressing the left foot down into the ground. And either driving the left knee forward, directly forward, like toward the short edge of your mat, or angling it a little bit more to the left, back behind you. The left hand might slide past the right hand, so just go as far as you can comfortably go. Letting the head roll, rolling maybe onto the forehead, maybe even all the way to the right side of the forehead, right temple area. A few more times. Tracking sensation. So you're really anchored in the here and now. Last one on this side. At the end of that one, whenever it is for you, let's come back into the full release of Shavasana. Stretch your left arm alongside your ear. We could have feet planted if you want or not. So left arm is alongside the ear, palm facing up. And then from here, lift your head, lift your upper back, bend your left elbow, and try to bring your left hand underneath your upper back. Let's use the right hand on the elbow. I'm gonna lift the torso and the head again. And see if you can use your right hand to help that left hand slide a little further down your back. And then you can just release the right arm, or you can keep that support on the elbow. See if you can let the weight of your head go onto the arm or the floor, just depending on where it is. And we're breathing here. Breathe into the back ribs. Release the hand out from underneath you. Second side, right arm on the floor, or maybe not on the floor, but alongside the ear with the palm up. Bend the elbow, lift head and upper back so you can tuck the hand underneath the upper back. use your left hand on your right elbow to help nudge. So we go from really active to passive range of motion. And then just release the weight of your head down and be with your breath. Directing your breath more into the upper back, upper ribs, back ribs. Release the hand out from underneath you. Bring your left arm alongside your ear again, palm up. And then bend the elbow, just let the hand drag along the floor. So elbow pointing up toward the ceiling, and then flip over your hand. So you can bring the palm flat with fingers pointing toward the shoulder. If you can spin the hand so the fingers point more to the shoulder, try to do that. If that doesn't work for you, you can let the fingers point more out to the left, out to the side, away from you. Bring your right hand to your left elbow and use the right hand to kind of stir the pot, circling the elbow. So the whole palm doesn't have to maintain contact with the floor. Make sure your fingers are spread. The shoulder will lift and lower. The circle can be quite small or it can grow larger, go the other direction. You could keep the circle really small and the hand grounded or not. Try the other side. So just extending right arm alongside the ear, palm up. And then as you slide the hand along the floor to bring the elbow to point up toward the ceiling, eventually the hand approaches the shoulder and you just flip so the hand is palm down, fingers pointing maybe toward the shoulder, maybe a little more or a lot more out to the right. Left hand to the right elbow, make sure right fingers are spread. And we're circling the elbow. Kind of like we're stirring the pot. Switch directions. Back body breathing. Release. You can release arms down by your sides. Let's plant both feet again. This time about hip width apart. With your exhalation, press the spine into the floor, the lower spine, so belt line, waist, rooting down. And then as you inhale, rock toward your tailbone and arch your lower spine away from the floor. Pelvis is staying down, not lifting the hips at all. Go back and forth here a few times. Exhaling as you root through the lower spine, and then inhaling as you create your gap, the gap between lumbar and floor. One more time. Let your spine and pelvis be relaxed here. Feet are still planted, about hip width apart. Press right foot into the floor and reach the right knee forward. So right hip will come up off of the ground, but left hip stays down. And then release and switch. So we went side to side with the knees. Now we're going straight forward, like you would do in bridge pose, right? We would push the feet down and move both knees forward, but now we're just doing one. And you can ease that side of the pelvis, that hip down, or you can let it drop all at once. We've worked on that a bit, that hip thump. Practicing the ability to let go, particularly with the thumb, can be difficult. One side might feel like it has a different personality. One more time, each side. And then once you're back at center, let's bring the knees in toward the chest, hands to the knees, and circle the knees. Switch directions. And now try to draw a figure 8 with your knees. And feel the changing contact the back body makes with the floor. The pelvis and the lower back. Switch directions. And then back to center here. Let's grab a block if you have a block handy. Placing a block between the legs. Any setting. So you can go narrow, medium, or wide. All have benefit. Arms out to a T. Let's dial the hands so the palms are down. And then bring the knees a little more in toward the chest and lower them over to your left, keeping your right shoulder as much as you can on the ground. Let's take a few breaths here. Breathe into the back ribs especially. Squeeze the block, bring the legs up through center and over to the other side. Knees at least in line with the hips, everybody, and closer in is an option, but we don't want the knees, or at least I'm suggesting, the knees don't go farther away from your hips. Try to keep the shoulder down. Maybe the legs don't get all the way to the ground. That's fine. Breathing into the back of your lungs. Squeeze the block, bring the legs up through center. And now we'll go side to side. Let's keep the shoulders down, so that might limit how far the legs go. That's okay. So rather than letting the shoulder lift to get the legs down, keep the shoulder down and see how far the legs will go. Again, directing the knees more toward the elbows rather than far away towards the short edge of your mat. And squeeze the block to come up through center and exhale into the twist. If you want, you can rotate your head opposite. Next time, legs lower to the left. Stay again and consider straightening the legs out to the side. So push through your heels, flexing the feet. Bend the knees, squeeze the block, bring the legs up through center, over to the other side, and then maybe extending the legs straight out to the side here. Keep pushing through your heels, pulling your toes back. Bend the knees, squeeze the block to bring the legs up through center. And now we'll flow a little bit more. So lowering the knees, maybe straightening the legs, bend the knees, legs up through center, to the other side, maybe straightening the legs, bend, be sure you squeeze the block in the transition particularly. You could turn the head opposite. One more time, side to side. And once you're back to center, release the block. Let's release into Shavasana. Notice what you notice. Sensation in and around the pelvis, the legs, the ribs, anywhere. When you feel ready, bend your knees, roll to your side, and make your way up to a seat. Okay, we're sitting, coming to a seat with the feet planted wider than your hips, and I'm leaned back onto my hands. Windshielding, windshield wipering the legs side to side. So if your foot runs into your knee, take your feet wider apart so you've got clearance. So it's not running into the foot. And side to side, you might end up coming off the hand a little bit when you rock. I'm going to mirror you in this sequence. So the next time your legs drop over to your right, pause and just notice how much space there is between your left sitting bone and the floor. So left hand, tap your butt and then bring it to the floor and just notice. Okay, there's about a fist width of space, or I can barely get my fingers under there, or somewhere in between. Okay, and then let's do the same thing on the other side. Drop your knees over to your left. Use your right hand to just see, get a sense of how much space there is between the right buttock and the floor. And you might already know, you might be launching into some story about, this side's going to be tighter or not because of your hips. So drop all the judgment if it was rising, and if it wasn't, sorry, it maybe is now. But we always just want to notice this bare bones idea of what's present and try to avoid the stories and the labels. Okay, so we're dropping back over to your right side. So your right leg will be in front here. And I'm still propped on my right hand, but my left hand is no longer on the floor. Okay, and then from here, we'll tap this back knee, this left knee. We would call this the trail leg or the back leg. So we're tapping. If it's not quite, if you're really uncomfortable, you can put something underneath the knee, like if it won't get all the way to the floor, you can grab a pillow or even a block to put underneath the knee. And you can also prop up or pad your hand, because we're going to be leaning back onto the hands quite a bit. So I'm just tapping this inner knee into the floor in a easy, small, gentle way. And then I'll tap the knee, and as I tap, move it a little bit away from me, and then move it back toward me. Go back and forth a few times, tapping forward, tapping back. You might not get very far out in front or back. Notice how we kind of already did this movement, right? This reaching the knee forward. And when we were on our backs with our feet planted. One more time, we'll tap it forward and tap it back. And then lean back onto your hands. So you can drop your legs over to your left. So now the left leg is in front. And I'm tapping the right knee down. Inner knee tapping forward away from you and back toward you. One more time. Lean back onto your hands. Drop your legs over to your right. And now use the left hand to reach and kind of sweep the arm around. You can pat yourself on the back. So left hand coming over right shoulder, and then reach and let the torso move. So reaching back behind you, reaching around you a few times. As the arm sweeps back, bring the hand down, drop your legs over to your left, wrap your right arm around you, pat yourself on the back, and then let the arms sweep back. Allowing the pelvis to move, allowing the torso to move, the head. Next time the arm reaches back behind you, bring the hand down, rock over, so right leg is in front. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Now we'll lift the left hip, shift it forward, and then let it come back. Lifting the hip, drawing it forward, and releasing it back toward the floor. Let's look over the right shoulder as the hip comes forward, and look over the left shoulder as the hip drops down. Back and down. A few more times. Finding your fullest range of motion through your head. As the hip drops down, place your left hand down, drop the legs over to your left, right hand on the right hip, let the hip roll forward, and then shift back and down. Looking over the left shoulder as the hip comes forward, over the right shoulder as the hip drops back. Couple more times on this side. As the hip drops back, rock back onto your right hand. Drop your legs over to your right. Right foot is in front. Left hand on the left hip. Same basic movement here, but as you lift the hip, reach with your right earlobe over your right shoulder, and then let the gaze follow that. Then hip dropping back down. You can reach with your left earlobe over your shoulder and let your gaze follow. Try that a couple more times. Leading with the earlobe, following with the gaze. Once you're looking over your left shoulder, rock back onto your left hand, drop the legs over, so left leg is in front, right hand to right hip. As the hip shifts forward, lead with your left earlobe over your left shoulder, and then allow your gaze to follow that. As the hip drops back and down, you can lead with your right earlobe and follow with the gaze. Couple more times. Noticing what's arising, maybe a different range of motion or a different sensation. Maybe the back leg is so full of sensation that the head is less noticeable. And then one more time, same shape here on the right side, right leg forward, Now we'll rotate the head opposite. So the hip draws forward, look over your back shoulder. So left hip drawing forward, looking back over left shoulder. And then when the hip releases back and down, look over right shoulder. Try that a couple more times on your own. Go slow here. The end of that one, whatever it is for you. Lean back onto your hands, drop the legs over to your left, right hand on right hip. As the hip moves forward, look over your right shoulder. As the hip drops back, look over left shoulder. And then back to center, windshield wiper knees side to side. Dropping your legs over to the right to stay. And now I'll bring the right hand to the, bring the left hand to the right side of the ribs. So right hand is still on the ground. Try to get a handful of your ribs. Left hand on right ribs. Okay, and then we're using the hand to help rotate the ribs along with the hip. So it's this drawing of the hip back and rotating. You can even slide your hand to help feel the rotation a little bit more through your center. Get a good handful of ribs and roll, rotate the ribs as you lower the hip. One more time. Lean back onto your hands, drop the legs over to the left, right hand getting the left side of the rib cage. As the hip comes down, use your hand to help rotate. I find this kind of brushing helps me to feel the rotation of the ribs, or you can just keep the handful of ribs. So we're just getting a little bit more awareness of the rib cage and maybe a little help from the hand. One more time. Then rock back onto the right hand, drop the legs over to the right. Okay, so now bring the left hand to the right shoulder. And just allow your elbow to be heavy. So the hand's kind of hooked over so that I can just relax the arm completely. Let's draw a few circles with the neck. Switch directions. Once you're back to center, we'll bring the left arm over the head and see if you can get a hold of your right ear. Okay. And then draw some circles with the elbow. So the head's attached now, kind of contained. You don't have to actually like hold your ear, but hand in that area. Now we're drawing circles with the elbow. Circles are as big or as small as you like. The torso is moving here, not holding it in place because the arm is staying pretty still. Try going the other direction. And then once you're back to center, see if you can get the right hand off of the floor. You can shift the legs a bit if you need to. So right hand is on the left elbow, and then we'll do a little cat-cow here. So with your inhalation, lift your chest a little bit more, and with your exhale, let the back round and the head come forward. I mean, the head's attached to the spine, so that's just gonna happen. Try that a couple more times. Inhale, chest rising, up toward the ceiling, and then exhale, tuck the chin, round through the upper back in particular. Let's go one more time, two more times. Coming back upright, release the hands behind you, drop the legs over to your left. Bring your right hand to your left shoulder. Let the arm be heavy. Let's do a few neck rotations, chin toward the chest, and then around. Switch directions. Right arm is heavy. Head spiraling back up to center. Bring your right arm up around your head to hold left ear or vicinity. And now we circle, draw circles on the ceiling with the elbow. They might end up coming over to the side walls too, walls. Letting the whole torso move, but guided, or just following the circle of the elbow. Switch directions. Spiral back to center. Take hold of your right elbow with your left hand. I'm just holding each elbow in a sense. And then cat cow. So inhaling, chest rising up. If your back leg's on fire, you can adjust where it is. Exhale, round through your spine into cat. Go back and forth a few times. Next time you inhale and the chest rises, release your hands back behind you. Windshield wiper knees side to side a few times. And then let the knees stay over to the right. Bring your left hand to your left buttock. Notice if the space between your buttock and the floor has changed at all. Maybe, maybe not. And then same thing on the other side. Knees drop over to the left. It's pretty much the same amount of space for me. We'll come back to center and plant the feet with your knees together. And then from here, lean back onto your forearms. Okay, lift the feet off the ground so the knees come in toward the chest. Try not to slump into your shoulders. So I'm pushing the floor away with my elbows, and knees are tick-tocking side to side. Knees don't need to get to the floor. Try to keep the knees together. Let's add rotation of the head opposite. This might be an awkward shape if you've never done it before. Come back to center, and now we'll do a figure 8 with the knees. Switch directions. Come back to center. Knees in toward the chest. Drop the knees over to one side, maybe straighten the legs. So not really all the way down here, because then I would lose this contact with the opposite arm. Bend the knees up through center, over to the other side. Maybe straighten the legs. Bend. Try that a couple more times. Good, and then last option here, knees drop to the side, straighten the legs, and then maybe keep them straight, and they go side to side. Could be very small movement side to side, and you can rotate your head opposite. Back to center, bend the knees, and come on up to sit. Let's grab a block, everybody, and we'll place it between the feet. And you can lean back onto your hands. We're trying to be as upright as possible here. So we don't want to lean back and like let our whole torso come back. If you're leaning back, it's more to push the floor away and sit up tall, but you might have to be a little angled back. So see what works for you. Being as upright as you can. Some of you can do this hands free. Okay, we'll take one leg, it stays straight, it comes up and over, heel tapping the opposite toes, and then coming back down. If the high setting is too much, you need lower. You can go medium or low, right? So the foot, I mean, you might not get to tap the toes. You might end up just tapping lower on the foot. But we're working on this hip flexor strength. So up and over to tap. Alternating a couple more times. Chest staying lifted. And then once you're back to center, staying upright. If you have any kind of disc issues or sciatica, we want to keep the back aligned as we hinge versus rounding to fold. So I don't have any disc issues or sciatica. So first I hinge and then I allow the fold to happen. But it's really important that you're not rounding if you have any disc issues. It will exacerbate them. Same with sciatica. So some of you might want to stay upright if you can't get the pure hip hinge. Some of you might even need to lean back and really work on lifting the chest. Okay, so we're getting the pelvis to come forward, not letting it roll back, and then reaching forward. Okay, so here we are, potentially in a forward bend or staying more upright. Try drawing the belly away from the thighs. A few more breaths. Rising to upright spine. Now let's bring the left foot in to the right inner thigh. Sitting up tall. The knee is up. Put something underneath it so you have something to push into. Let's find pure hip hinge here, so no rounding, everybody. Chest is staying up, head is in line with the spine. Your right leg is straight, right thigh pressing down, toes point up. Let's breathe in to a count of 4 and out to a count of 8. One more breath here. Just reconfirm that you don't have any rounding in your spine. Chest is lifted. The back of your skull is in line with your sacrum, not dropping forward, not dropping back. From here, you have your right leg straight, so we're bringing left hand to the left thigh. And let's start to apply downward pressure with the hand and upward pressure with the leg. So you would like to lift the leg, but the hand is keeping it down. We're going to start with about 20% of intensity. So we're doing just a little bit of pails and rails mobility work. And now increase the intensity to about 40%, trying to lift the leg, hand pushing it down. About 60% of effort. 80%. So really working hard now. Last few seconds, give it your greatest, safest effort. Keep the chest lifted. And then slowly release your effort. You can keep the hand where it is and try to push the leg down away from the hand. So if the leg's already on the floor, it's not going to leave the hand, but if your leg was up, maybe it moves a little bit away from the hand. Holding that pressure down of the leg, hand isn't doing anything. And then just a little surrender deeper into the fold, perhaps. Rising up. Let's do the same thing on the other side. Left leg is out straight. Right foot is to the left inner thigh. Toes point up. hinge to fold, 0 rounding in the spine, chest is staying forward, not dropping back. Breathing into a count of 4 and out to a count of 8. My legs are somewhat active. This isn't yin. Make sure the toes are staying pointing up and the knee as well. We'll be here for about 1 more minute. Lengthening the exhalation. At the end of this breath that you're on, check in, make sure you're not rounding your spine at all. Bring your right hand to your right thigh and start to press the hand down and resist up with the leg, about 20% of effort. Increasing to about 40% of effort. 60%. Hand is pressing down, leg is resisting up. 80%. Everything you have. Greatest, safest range. Shaking is normal. And now slowly release that. And keep your hand where it is and press the leg down. Maybe it leaves the hand. If it's already down all the way, it won't leave the hand. You can just move the hand aside. We're just pressing the leg down and the hand isn't doing anything. Holding that rooting action of the leg. And then release it and maybe hinge a little deeper. Rising up. Next, we're coming into pigeon. So let's come in with the right leg forward. You can take this onto your back. If you already know the pigeon shape doesn't work for you, you can take it into this supine figure 4. And for some of you, you'll stay on your front hip with the back knee bent. So kind of where we were before in this 90-90 kind of shape that we came to from our windshield wipers, but maybe straightening the back leg some. Okay, if it's available to have hips level and back leg straight, please do that. Coming down onto the forearms. Let's keep the shoulders down the back so we're not sinking in here. Shoulder blades are moving down the back. There's a little pressure of the arms into the floor. My head is in line with the rest of the spine. Let's not drop the head. Chest is lifted. And if the back leg is straight, try applying some downward pressure with the back foot. You can also try lifting your belly up away from the floor. Let's shift a little so we are more oriented, torso more oriented over your front knee. You can certainly be up on your hands if that's better for you. We're not really trying to do a back bend though, so I would try to keep the ribs more in line with the pelvis rather than creating a back bend and kind of crunching the back. Yeah, so if you're more up on your hands, then focus more on ribs in and lengthened lower spine. Yeah, you can be onto your forearms, it's probably gonna be a little easier. And make it work for you. This is more about the hips than the spine. This is more about, less about a back bend, not at all really about a back bend. And then bring the upper body back to center if you scoot off to the knee. And try to use your front leg pressing down to rise up. Might end up being hands also. A couple more times here, hinge. And then use your hands as little as possible. Press the front leg down to rise up. One more time, hinging. Pressing the front leg from the knee to the foot down to rise up. And then from here, let's swap over to the second side. Remember, whatever leg is in front, you can be more onto that hip. The back leg could be partially bent. You can be on your back on your second side. If you can have your hips level, please do. Chest is moving forward. Ribs not dropping, drooping toward the floor. So ribs in, shoulders down. If the back leg is straight and the hips are level, what happens when you press the top of the foot down? Try angling the torso more over the front knee. Come back to center. Belly in, ribs in. Press the front leg down from the foot all the way to the knee to rise up. Notice I'm not arching, compressing the back here. It's more of a hip hinge. Come back down. press the front leg down. Use your hands as little as possible to rise up. One more time. Take your time. Pressing the front leg down to rise up. And from here, release. Coming onto your back. Once again, let's have our block handy. And let's place the block on the lowest wide setting underneath the sacrum. So we're in a supported bridge. And let's have the block really low down the pelvis. So more tailbone, less top of the sacrum, lower back dropping down. Now let's just work a little bit of internal rotation to finish. So feet are hip width, maybe a little wider. One leg stays vertical, other knee drops in. So it's basically half of the windshield wiper. I'm not letting this other leg drop out to the side. And then same thing, other side. Try to keep the ribs down. So just like we've been working, the knee drops in to the midline, but also kind of moves away from you. Rocking to the inner edge of the foot. And just one more time. It's not a huge movement, most likely. And then at the end of that one, whenever it is for you, consider staying on the block here and bringing feet together and knees apart. If it doesn't work, take the block out and come into this reclined butterfly or Supta Baddha Konasana with the pelvis on the floor. Back body breathing, back lung breathing. And then from here, bring your feet back to the ground. Scoot the block out, roll through your spine to lower all the way down, and then stretch out your legs and make your way into Shavasana. Bones dropping. Notice any change, any new or different sensations in the whole body in general, and in the pelvis and the legs in particular. And then just drop into the breath stream, breath breathing you, resting in awareness. And coming back into the river of breath. And when you feel ready, you can rise up to a seat. Sharing a reading from The Breath of God by Swami Chetanananda. When you understand that the great source of satisfaction exists within you just as you are, then you don't need to bother with anything else. Very simply, when there is beauty within you, when there is love within you, then love grows up everywhere in your life. When there is giving in you, then giving grows up everywhere in your life. Then there is no need to manipulate or change anything because there is already something utterly amazing in you as you are. I won't say that it's perfect, but I will say that there is perfection there. You have in this life so few moments together with the people you love. For that matter, you have so few moments in general. Maybe you'll see 30 or 40 more seasons and then you're finished. How then do you have any time to manipulate anything or to worry? It's really more a question of appreciation. Let's simply appreciate deeply the moments we have together, opening ourselves to them and participating in them. That's enough. Nothing else is needed. Let's bring hands, palms together at heart center. Take a breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.